By way of introduction, Aditi is a services company that offers technology solutions to enterprises and software businesses. We have a strong focus on the cloud, and we are one of Microsoft's top partners. We offer solutions across the spectrum for businesses, and we are roughly around 1,600 people, short of $100 million in revenue. We have a global presence and footprint. We have large presence here in Seattle in the Pacific Northwest, and offices in New York, in Boston, London, and then 3 development headquarters in India. Aditi Litehouse, as you all know, is the digital marketing arm. It's been a year since we launched this, and we're fortunate to have some excellent customers with whom we've done work over the last year. Just to name a few, we're very proud of the work that we've done with our customers here. I'm going to just give you a brief view of my world of what I've done a lot of in my life in marketing, is in the business-to-business world. When I was at Microsoft, I had several $1 million to spend, and my primary focus was to sell to enterprises, to sell to other businesses. And so I'm going to give you a sense of some of the challenges in B2B marketing as I see it, and some of the key trends, and just take you through 2 or 3 things to think about as you think about business-to-business marketing. Business-to-business marketing is a real voodoo, right? Nobody really knows this whole concept of what is the cost per lead or cost per acquisition. If you look at the world which is online, in the B2C world, it's all about clicking to conversion, clicking to buy. And in those scenarios, what you find is that it's very easy to find out what you spent on PPC, what you spent on your website, and what results you drove as a result of that. In my world, as I talk to other C-level executives in the marketing world, one of the things that most CEOs don't think of marketing as marketing. They just think of cost of sales. This whole paradigm of my cost of sales is high, and the effectiveness of marketing people is always questioned. As a marketer, you're always under stress saying, hey, what is your cost per acquisition? What is your cost per lead? And if you really look at the world that we live in a typical B2B world, you could have somebody who buys from you 9 months to 12 months from the time you first engage them. So to give you an example, you start off, I'm a classic software services company selling to other software companies or enterprises. We put out something on our website. Somebody comes and clicks onto the website, and then a month later, you invite them to a webcast. They come in and register into the webcast. They go in and do more stuff, engage with you, and it's like 5 months later, your inside salesperson, classic B2B, enterprise sales, picks up the phone and calls the customer prospect for the first time, and then hands this off as a prospect to your sales guys. Salespeople are, in general, lazy. They don't want to go and do this whole solution proposition. They want warm leads. They want warm qualified prospects. And so it's 6 months have passed, and the sales guy goes, and 2 months later he closes the deal. When the deal is closed, the marketing person raises up the hand and says, hey, 6 months ago, I marketed this webcast. They came to this webcast, and I got them through my efforts. And the salesperson saying, of course not. My inside sales guy, he called this from a list, and he got this from the list, and we got this deal through that. That's a classic problem you have. The classic problem in the business-to-business world is true effectiveness of marketing, because of the time it takes from the time you get the lead for the first time, and it's drip marketing. You put out a webcast, you put out some stuff on SlideShare, you chase this person on another place, but there are no tools today. There are no tools today to bring this all together to tell you all that your marketing efforts were successful in landing a qualified prospect for your salesperson in a short period of time. How do you shrink that? How do you be more effective in trailing this customer through this journey so that you can say, it took 9 months for the first time, we can bring this down to 6 months. We can bring this down to 3 months. We can be predictable. You don't need a salesperson or inside salesperson to enter the lead into your CRM and then say, hey, this came through marketing, and then the question's always about how effective are you. And so B2B is extremely challenging. So this is one of the areas that we've been doing a lot of work with. We're hoping that next year, early next year, we'll write a playbook on some of the successes that we've seen. But the idea here is to learn and share experiences. And so what I'm going to do is to basically take you through 3 or 4 key trends that we are seeing today in the business-to-business world to make marketers more effective. The first one is, this whole notion of new assets. If you are spending money on PPC, if you are spending money on basically trying to acquire customers on places like Enterprise Magazine or CIO Magazine or Storage Magazine, and you're buying keywords for your business, in the new world that I see now, we are seeing new medium like LinkedIn being very effective. The old world of where you had to buy lists to where you have targeted groups on LinkedIn. We're beginning to see some success in the way we are able to use LinkedIn in surveys, in polls, in the way we can go out and target groups in LinkedIn to find a lot more qualified prospects. And then using other assets like Twitter, influentials. How do you get hold of influentials who can take your offer, take your campaign, and actually be able to offer that so that you can get a better click-through, because a bunch of people who follow the influentials are really interested in that. That's one of the key trends we're seeing in a lot of our campaigns that we're doing right now with our customers in the B2B world. We're using a lot of our online spend into some of these new categories, if you will. The next one, if you want to move. The next concept is what I called social sphere. Social sphere is, in a very simple way to think about, most of us go out looking for customers or looking for prospects through lists, through new names. We all want new customers. But most of your customers actually reside around your current customers. Salesforce.com wants to make sure that social monitoring is the biggest thing on earth because they can sell you tons of licenses of Radiant 6, expensive licenses. There are tons of tools out there. The point is that your customers are actually around your current customers. Your new customers are around your current customers. The question is, how do you harness the potential of their ability to vouch for you? The like concept on Facebook for a brand is being watched by their peers, by their competitors. It's more likely that you will get that. For a content that you put out there, how do you get more reviews? How do you get better ratings for the content that you put out there? And so the whole notion of really exploiting your social spheres, this is your new Rolodex. This is the new currency by which you actually acquire new customers. And so you got to look for how you can get your customers to voice. In the true world that we are, in the old world, you would go to a customer and say, can you please give me a reference? Can you please come up, can I put a case study on my website? By the way, anybody who's done case studies, marketing people chase salespeople all their lives for case studies. And case studies never come out until there is a compensation number put against that for the account manager. And that's the truth in this industry. And so how do you really change that and make that happen without friction? And the way you do that is using some of the new online assets and how your social sphere is defined. Go figure out what is your social sphere. It is more likely that if one of your customers speaks positively about your product, one of their competitors or a brand that is affiliated to them will actually come and buy your product or service. And it's a key notion that I believe is going to emerge in this whole concept of B2B marketing. The third concept is really around, the shift. The sales channel is moving from outbound to inbound. And the idea behind outbound to inbound is that content is key. Today, the content that you put, you don't think of your content as just being what you have on your website. Think of your digital assets that you put out on SlideShare. Think of the white papers that your people write. Think of the reviews and ratings and recommendations that those drive. It's multi-channel, it's digitally biased. It's the kind of thing that basically will bring down your cost of customer acquisition, as well as your ability to track how B2B marketing is more successful. You're going to hear a lot more from the panelists. I just wanted to give you a broad sense of some of the key trends that we're seeing, across new assets like LinkedIn and Twitter, the whole concept of social sphere, and this notion of changing your thinking from outbound to inbound and really leveraging content as a way to go out and get that.